Hello and welcome to this week's episode of One-on-One Sports. I'm Andrew Vandellis.
And I'm Matt Holzapfel. Let's dive right into the three strikes.
Kawhi Leonard has missed most of the season with a quadricep injury, only appearing in 9 games so far. Currently, the San Antonio Spurs sit at 6th in the Western Conference with a record of 43-31. Matt, does the absence of Kawhi impact the Spurs' ability to upset a team in the playoffs?
I'm going to say no, and here's why. If the season ended today, right, they'd be the 6th seed, they'd play Portland. I think they can beat Portland without Kawhi. Not like as they are right now. I'm saying if Tony Parker is healthy, if Manu Ginobili is healthy, if LaMarcus Aldridge is playing his best basketball. Because here's the thing, if Kawhi comes back, he's just going to throw off the chemistry. They're just going to be a whole new team.
That's a lot of factors to ask for a whole team, though.
But
rather
they're
than
close to
adding
that.
Kawhi Leonard, you really think without Kawhi Leonard they have a better chance
I think
of
if he
upsetting
comes
a
back,
team
if he
like
sits
Portland
out for
or
the
like
rest of the
Golden
regular
State,
season, right?
regardless of Curry?
Comes back game 1 of the playoffs, there's no chemistry. Who knows how confident he is in his shoulder, because we know we've had a lot of problems. Is he even healthy? Tony Parker said
But
my
Kawhi doesn't
injury
really
was worse.
take away from the players when he's on the court, does he?
They're a more talented team for sure. I don't know if they're a better team right now, immediately, as soon as Kawhi comes back.
But you know that San Antonio's not feeling that confident about it when they're imploring him to come back.
But I think with Greg Popovich at the helm, you got to be some kind of confident always. You have all-stars and NBA champions on your roster. They're going to be okay. You said 9 games. They were 5-4 with him, 38-27 without him. And although he averaged 16 points in those 9 games, they've proven they can beat teams without Kawhi. So I think they're going to be okay.
But they're also 6-4 in their last 10, and it only takes them 4 losses to get eliminated. So
that's true. You're welcome. That was the message Zlatan Ibrahimovic sent to Los Angeles Galaxy fans after he signed a 2-year, $3 million contract with the team last Friday, just 1 day after he ended his time with Manchester United. The Galaxy, who are looking to welcome back injured and international players, are currently 1-1-1 on the season. Andrew, will signing Zlatan be beneficial for the Galaxy, or is it just a miss?
Initially, I thought it would, but this knee injury he's coming off of really worries me. We talked about him a couple weeks ago about the World Cup and his potential appearance there, and that age also still bothers me. 36 and with the bad knee, I don't see how this can be very beneficial.
If you look at his body of work, even in the last 1-2 seasons with Manchester United, it hasn't fallen off at all, barely, if at all. Look, he was the 2nd player ever to score in his first 3 league matches, 2nd ever to score in the Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup, European competition, and Community Shield. That was last season at 35 years old.
He is productive, but his pace is slower, and he's likely to be in more of a limited role that would suit him better in LA. But you saw the promo packages and all the fanfare that came with it. Who's to say that they won't try to shove him right into the number 1 spot and work him to death?
And we've seen this happen before. Sorry, with David Beckham. Now we've seen Thierry Henry, Steven Gerrard, Andrea Pirlo make the move from European soccer to the MLS. Mostly successful, and if anything, he's going to sell more tickets because he immediately becomes the biggest name on their roster. And when you look at it also, he was making $27 million a year for Man U. He's making $3 million in those 2 years. That's a 95% pay cut.
But that to me just hints that he's not going to be like the forefront of this team, and that he needs to be eased in the system rather than forced to be the face of the franchise. To me, it says the Galaxy say, prove it. Prove you're still worth it. And I think he can. And that's he's no problem proving it. If you watch him play, he's full of confidence. He's full of swagger. He has no problem proving that he's still worth that money. As long as he can rehabilitate his knee and still just, as you said, prove it, the line will still be great.
Exactly.
Loyola Chicago has had a magical March Madness run. This 11 seed from the South region has beaten 6-seeded Miami, 3rd-seeded Tennessee, and 9th-seeded Kansas State to make it to the Final Four. In light of Loyola Chicago's recent success, Matt, who has had the most improbable deep run in tournament history?
Ooh, I love a good Cinderella. Hang on to your seats for this one, all right?
All right,
1983 NC State Wolfpack, right? They entered the season ranked in the top 20. Enter ACC play, also ranked in the top 20. First game against Virginia, senior captain Derek Wittenberg breaks his foot, misses the next 17 games. NC State goes 10-7, comes in the ACC tournament knowing they have to win to get a bid. There's not going to get an at-large bid, and that's what happens. They win 3 games in 3 days against UVA, UNC, and Wake Forest. UNC, a team defending national champs with Michael Jordan, Kenny Smith, Sam Perkins. That's a good team, right? So they're in the tournament, a 6th seed in the West. They go on to beat Pepperdine in double OT, UNLV by 1, Utah, and then UVA again to be the Final Four. And we know what happens in the Final Four. They beat Georgia. They face the Phi Slamma Jamma Houston Cougars, and we know Lorenzo Charles tips in the ball from Derek Wittenberg to win it all. A great story. You know Jimmy V running around the court trying to find someone to hug. It's the best Cinderella of all time.
I'm going for a little bit of recency since you had a throwback. And I think the story of this year's humbling season for the Gamecocks really puts into perspective the spectacular tournament run they had last season. We didn't really see many Cinderellas outside of number 12, Middle Tennessee, who got eliminated by Butler in that next round. And the teams that South Carolina had to face and the expectations that came along with them, they faced a potential upset against Marquette. Then they went and beat a highly anticipated Duke team. Then they went and absolutely obliterated 3-seed Baylor. And then Gonzaga was a very doable foe for South Carolina, but in the end, the runner-up, they gave them a run for their money, 77-70 in the Final Four. It's not the prettiest or the most dreamy Cinderella story, but it was one that not many saw coming.
I don't mind. The Cinderellas don't have to be double-digit seeds, right? They just have to get somewhere when they're not expected to. I love that one. I love them all. It's all great for March Madness. Stick around. When we come back, our football experts will discuss some of the most recent moves from the NFL free agency period.